Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Maggie. Thank you for stopping by to spend some time with me today. My desk is a mess. This is actually just the last video that I made working on this library journal. This is actually, I'm filming it right after that because I've got all this stuff out and I really do want to try to make some progress. In that last video, I made one piece, one pocket and one tag that I didn't even decorate or anything, the tag. It took an hour and I am so sorry about that. So I thought I've got everything out. I'm going to come back on, and although you won't see this video for a couple of days, but at least I'll have that done. I'm going to try to decorate some of these tags that I've cut. I need to count and make sure that I like to put at least one tag in each pocket, but we'll see. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 'Melody band, I've got something for that. This is going to go, this is the pocket that I made in the tag in the last video, so that's good. That little barking sound that you heard, this will be a tuck spot 5. 6, 7, I need to put this in. Anyway, that's my poor little Pomeranian. She's an older dog. I don't really know how old. I don't know how old she was when I rescued her. But I've had her myself for about 6 years. And she's had this cough for quite some time, off and on. But I took her to the vet and because I wanted to make sure it wasn't respiratory or something with her heart. But the vet said no, it was just that because she's small and small dogs are prone to have some form of tracheal collapse, if that's what it was. She says that was a very typical cough of that. So I try not to worry about her, but I do, and it hurts my heart whenever she coughs like that because I know what it feels like when I've had a cough, and you know, it can be painful. It just kind of breaks my heart for her. So anyway, we're going to work on these tags. Now, decorating tags is not one of my favorite things that I like to do. And basically all these are, I'm not sure if I'll use that, are cut-offs from the scrapbook paper that I've been using. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's enough. I mean, I could make a couple more if I need to. So what I need to do is, they're all tag shaped. The corners have all been rounded. I need to ink around them, and then I need to put some decoration or something on them. So let's do the ink around them real quick. I do hope everybody is fine. So you'll be watching this, my last video. Today is Monday for me. And the video that I made before this, that took me an hour to make that one pocket, will go up tomorrow, and then this will probably go up the following day. I've been trying to make a kind of a schedule of what I want to make videos of, so I know in advance, kind of in advance, what I'm going to do. And so I've kind of got most of this week planned, but not completely, so that's something I need to work on, is deciding what the rest of my videos for this week are going to be. I'm thinking that I'll be done with this library journal very soon, and when I do, I'll pull one out of my basket, one of the little strips of paper, I'll do it on camera for my next journal so I can start preparing for it. I mean, since I don't know what it's going to be, I don't know if I'll have the stuff for it. I've been thinking about, because this is out of my comfort zone, is doing a journal cover with the with one of those Amazon packaging bags, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I do need, some of these are just plain white on the back side, so I need to dirty them up a little bit, not too much. So I've enjoyed working on this journal thus far. It's been fun. It's, you know, libraries have always been a part of my life. And they continue to be, as my daughter, as I said many times now, is a teacher librarian. She has her master's degree in library science. And she loves her job. She loves what she does. The job that she's in right now is very challenging because of the demographics where the children go to school from. It's a difficult population, and she's with the elementary kids, and some of the things that she's relayed to me that those children are capable of is just unbelievable. Oh, this may be a little bit too dirty, but anyway, I'll take off some of the white. I could back them with another piece of paper, but they're fairly sturdy, so I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's necessary to do that. I'll just take some of the white off of these. Well, that one's already got double back. Not going to be particularly good to write on, but neither will that. But it'll be alright. You can use a black pen. You can write on it. I love making these journals, but it's funny, I am not a journaler myself. And I have said this before on here too. I just have tried many times over the years, but I never follow all the way through with it. I start and then I stop. I start and then I stop. I suppose if I could find them all and put them all together, I'd have somewhat of a chronological thing going on about where I was at particular times in my life. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's see here, I want to punch my holes in these. And I am going to do the unreliable method and just guesstimate where my centers are, which I can get spot on or I can be completely off on them. So I'm just going to do the best I can. I am planning on putting toppers on them, so if it is off-centered, which I suspect it will be, it'll be a little bit camouflaged. I just feel so bad that I took all that time to make that one piece. An hour, that's a long time. Oh, anybody that was kind enough to watch that video is going to say, oh my gosh, this lady, what is she doing? Oh, that one's way off. Forgive me, tag, forgive me. I should have my, have my little dog sent back up here, my Canelo, my little Barker. I have made a couple of videos when he's been in the room and he's done quite well. And I hate to leave him downstairs all day, and it's already, we're getting into the mid-afternoon. I feel bad. I miss him when he's not up here. His only problem is his barking. And that's a big problem. Alright. So I'm going to put this, I'm not sure if I'm going to put eyelets in these or not. I may or I may not. So let's just start with these 3 and see what I've got to work with here, which unfortunately is not a whole heck of a lot. I do not have a lot of ephemera for this journal. But I love all the little pieces of all the little cards, and like this kind of stuff. Take a book along, or there's a couple in here that talk about like the New York Library, and here's somebody wrote this down about some library someplace. Interesting little things like that. And I do not have a lot of these, so I am very, very limited, but it's okay. It's okay. You don't really need a lot of stuff in it. I don't think. Well, when I first started making journals, when I first started, no, they were not stuffed full of stuff, because I really did not know what I was doing. But last year, which I was into making junk journals at the beginning of 2024, only a few weeks, I was just making my journals as fat as could be. The fatter the better, like some people like really chunky babies. Well, I've realized that probably is not always the best way. Well, it's not the only way. Of course, junk journaling, again, is one of those things, one of those art forms that you do how you want to do it, what pleases you, I don't think I've heard anybody say that there's any particular rules to junk journaling. Although when you hear some people who are true artists, which I know so many people on YouTube are, not just on YouTube, but who are part of this community, are true gifted artists. And I appreciate them and their work so very much. And, they will talk about things like composition and numbers and all of this, and it really is over my head, because I was not an art student, except for one semester in high school that I did not want to take, but I had to take a class to fill in the gap for my credits, and so it was art. Now, the class I really did not want to take, but back in those days, you were kind of forced to take it, especially if you were college bound, which, I do understand that, was typing. And believe me, I could not type to save my soul. I was terrible. Just terrible. And I don't even know how I passed my typing class. It was by the skin of my teeth, I'm sure. So, well, when I started using computers, I was very adept at using computers. It was kind of my thing. Now, I haven't worked with computers in quite a while. I always, and not my bedside nursing, of course, but, I was an educator, and I also had a program called Parenting Preemies that I did a lot of creative things, graphics and that sort of stuff. but I was not an artist, and I never have been, and I hold no claim to it. Some of this terminology and so forth, I understand what it means from the point of I know what that word means, but I don't really understand the whole theory behind it and the concept. But I do appreciate those who do, and I have learned a lot from listening to those who are truly artists. And my goodness, they do such beautiful things. I won't say I get jealous. I'm not even envious, but there's times when I wish I could do that, and have ideas flow through my mind just as easy as they do. But we all have our God-given talents, and we're to make the most of them, regardless of what they are. We just need to make the most of them. There's one that just needs a topper. So there's one. I'll put this typewriter on here. What else might I have? Oh, those things. Oh, sometimes I wish I had somebody just handing me things. Where's my little envelope of sayings? Can you get that for me, please? Thank you ever so much. I could work so much faster if that was the case. These are quotes from different authors. And I like them. I do like them. I like them quite a bit. I haven't been using it as much because they just don't fit in a lot of places. So like for this, I'm going to cut it down. Try to cut it straight, which is not one of my talents either. Oh, I'm going to cut off Shakespeare's name. I'm so sorry, I keep wandering off camera. Alright, so this is a quote by Shakespeare, and it says, "I count myself in nothing else so happy, as in a soul remembering my good friends, and as my fortune ripens with my love, it shall be still thy true love's recompense." So that was William Shakespeare. Yeah, I hated my typing class. I loved some of my classes. Most of my science classes and even math classes I really enjoyed. But art I didn't like. I felt like I was kind of forced to take that class, like typing, but I knew typing was a necessity at that time. But art wasn't, and I did not consider myself an artist by any stretch of the imagination. So I resented taking it. And typing I just wasn't any good at till, like I said, I started using computers. And once I started using computers, wow, it was a breeze. Alright, so it's overcast today in Houston, but it's also very warm. It's getting very warm in my room. And the door is closed. I need to put my fan on. I'll be right back. Right back. But that was many moons ago. All that fall draw. It was not the best time of my life. I was, I don't think I was as introverted as a child and teenager as I was as I became as an adult. But you know, I wasn't one of the cool kids. I wasn't one of the cool kids, which didn't bother me at the time. It doesn't bother me now. But you know, my home life was a little rough, which made high school a little bit difficult. Okay, so here's 2. Let's get moving along, Maggie. Get moving along. Alright, so let's take this one here. Let's take this one. See what we can find. So this tag, this paper says books are pure magic. And you know, books certainly can be pure magic. So pickings are kind of slim here. So you have to excuse me. These are just too big. Well, here's another stamp, like, for some reason that just kind of blends in there. Come on, Maggie. I feel like I'm racing against the clock. I just, you know, I'm to the point now with this journal. I get to a point when I'm working on a journal where, as much as I've enjoyed working on it, I am really happy when I start getting to the closure of it. Oh, here's another one. This will work. That will work. And what do I want to put down with it? I've been watching, I think I've said this before, I've been watching old movies in the evening. I do not watch a lot of TV, and mostly what I do watch are reruns of programs that I may have enjoyed years ago. But I've been watching these old movies, and oh my gosh, some of them are so funny. I watched this one last night or yesterday evening that was kind of like a murder mystery thing. Well, Bela Lugosi, I think that's how his name was said, Bela Lugosi. He played in Dracula, I think, and Frankenstein. All those old-time scary movies. And it was a murder, it was kind of a murder mystery kind of thing. and it was right before, the timing was supposed to be before America got involved with World War II. And they were trying to sabotage some companies. The Japanese were, I think. And they sent, the gist of it was that they were killing off the members of these corporations that were trying to, keep the stocks up and keep, everything flowing along. And there were 6 of them, 6 gentlemen. But they had this plastic surgeon, and he took and did plastic surgery on 6 Japanese men that they looked identical to the Americans. And the Americans were killed off one by one and replaced by these imposters. Except for one wasn't killed. He was given a poison injection that caused him to change into a monster. You saw him at the very end. So ridiculous. The funny thing, though, was here's these 6 men, that Americans, well-known, industrial, wealthy people, and they were killed off, but yet these imposters were supposed to kind of impersonate them. And it was all the newspapers that they had been killed. So I thought, well, how is it that these imposters then are going to be able to operate under these men's names? But, I think it was a 1930s film. So what can you expect? What can one expect? But it made me laugh because I thought, oh my gosh, probably if I would have saw that as a child, I would have been so scared, because in the end, the one of the industrials said for some reason they didn't kill him. They just gave him this poison and turned him into a monster. It was all covered with a cloak and everything. And when he took the cloak off, he was this hairy monster-looking person. Just unbelievable. So anyway, it was entertaining. I mean, fortunately, they're not long movies. They're like, 90 minutes or so. Or sometimes even less than that. Sometimes they're like 60-some minutes, which is not too much longer than some of the shows that we watch, routinely. So, like I said, it was entertaining. I remember as a child watching some of those old scary movies and being terrified. I do not like horror, especially modern day horror films. I just don't like them. Okay, so here's another one. 3 more that I'm going to do. Well, actually I've got 5 more. This one doesn't really need any decoration. I mean, I think it's fine the way that it is. So I'm going to leave it that way. Oh, let me put a piece of ribbon or something on here. Here comes my cat Stitch, who's going to bother me because he thinks it's time for him to get his canned cat food, and it isn't. He keeps coming and bugging me earlier every day, and depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I give in to him and his brother, but his brother doesn't do that as much. But sometimes he will. But this one, Stitch, he's huge. He's a huge cat. And you would think he was starving to death, but of course he's not. I mean, he must weigh about 24 pounds, so he's not fat. He's not like a big lump of lard. He really is just a huge cat. And he's not as active, of course, as he used to be, because he is older. I mean, he's about 12, which for a cat isn't, you know, too old. But he's about 12. But because of his size, like, he won't jump over the gate that I have in front of my room, the door to keep the dogs in. His brother will jump over it. You know, he'll just fly over it, but Stitch won't do that. And I feed them on my bathroom counter, and sometimes he wants, and I give them treats at nighttime, and I give them to him on the bathroom counter. And he, there are times, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought this was turned off. There are times when he wants me to pick him up and put him up there. I just can't lift him up anymore. He's heavy. And you know, then his legs go every which way and his claws are out, and I'm like, buddy, you want these treats, you gotta get up here and get them yourself. I'm not going to lift you. He's just too big and heavy. And he's just a tabby. He's just an ordinary tabby, but he really is a handsome cat. And when he was a kitten, he was always trying to get out. He did get out a few times. And this one time, oh my goodness, oh, it was when we were still in California. And a good friend of my daughter's, they were going to go see a play or something. They were going to be out for a while and then probably go get something to eat. So they weren't going to be home till quite late. And this cat knew how to open the doors. He could open the doors. And the front door wasn't locked. And this little dog that she left with me was so attached to his master that he didn't want to come upstairs with me to be with the other dogs. Now he did on other occasions, but that particular night he didn't want to come. And so I went to bed thinking everything was fine. I mean, the last time I checked on him, he was fine. But Stitch had opened the door, and this dog had gotten out with this cat. Oh my gosh, when they came back and the front door was open, first of all, they couldn't understand why the front door was opened. And you know, then they were like, what the world happened? Has the house been robbed? I mean, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And no, Stitch had opened the door, and him and this little dog, who was on the smaller side, not a tiny dog like my Pomeranian, but you know, just a small dog. They had walked right out the front door, and he was gone. He was gone. Stitch was too, but I knew Stitch would come back because he'd gotten out like that before, and he usually didn't stay missing for too long. No, he doesn't even try. He doesn't even care. But then he was still young enough that he did want to get out and roam around. You know, he's a great big old tomcat. And, but our friend was devastated, and I felt so terrible because he was an older dog, like one of the dogs I had was an older dog. And I just felt so terrible because we didn't know where he was. We all hunted for him, called him, and nothing. That was on a Saturday night, and my daughter went out. I went out with her, just calling his name and looking for him on all the streets around where we lived, you know, to see we didn't have any idea what direction he might have gone in. and he was gone. And I thought, oh gosh. I mean, he was her companion, and she loved that little dog. She rescued him, and she loved him very much. She gave him such a wonderful home. So anyway, they had called all the places where you can report pets missing. You know, they went to all the pounds, all the shelters, nothing. And next morning, nothing. Nobody had seen him or heard of him. Well, I thought to look up that one organization or website that I think it's called Lost My Pet or Find My Pet, something like that. And I went ahead and contacted them and sent a picture of him, and they posted it on their website. That's a great resource if you have lost a pet, or somebody needs help finding their pet. It really is a wonderful resource. So they posted it on their website, and I put up some flyers that actually I believe on their website, if you want to do a flyer, you upload a photo, and then they will kind of help you. I think that's how it works. They'll help you put the poster together, you know. And we had gone to church. Hadn't heard anything yet about the dog. The cat had come back by then. He was back. But we hadn't heard anything about the dog. And but I got a call on my phone. We were on our way home from church, I think. And this lady said, I think I found your dog. I think I have your dog. And she told us where she found him, and that he had nearly gotten hit because she didn't see him. He's gray and an older dog, and it was nighttime. But she said she stopped her car and went back to him, and she said he seemed friendly enough. You know, he looked like somebody's pet. He had his little sweater on, I think, and his collar, you know, cute little collar with his name. I think it had his name and everything on it. So she brought him home, and then she called the number that was my number. It happened to be because I was the one that contacted Find My Pet. She says, I think I have your dog. I said, oh, really? And she described him to me, and I says, that's Henry. It's him. So my daughter and I were very, very excited, and we decided not to tell Kim right off, you know, to tell our friend right off. We were just going to go pick up the dog and then take it to her apartment and surprise her. And boy, was she surprised. She had tried to portray that, you know, well, you know, these things happen, it's okay, and blah, 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 but we knew she was heartbroken. So when we knocked on her door, I said, can we have something for you? And she came out, and there was her little dog. She was so, so, so happy. And of course, we were happy too, especially me, because I felt responsible. So that story ended on a happy note. Okay, so that's another one. 39 minutes. Okay, I'm not, as you can obviously tell, not over decorating these tags. I'm just trying to get something on them. And like this one probably doesn't really need anything anyway. I might put a piece of rickrack or something on it, but it doesn't need a whole lot. It's kind of self-explanatory. It doesn't quite carry the theme of, you know, an old vintage library, but it does show people in all different ages, you know, reading and enjoying their book. So again, I'm very happy if you're joining me. I hope you will decide to come back and see me again. And to subscribe, that would be so lovely. And to leave me a comment. I'd like to know who's watching me and where you're watching from. I really want to get to know my subscribers. If you leave a comment, I will try to answer it in as timely fashion as I can. I haven't figured out the whole YouTube studio or anything yet, so I try to go back in and look for you know, the comments and answer them as, you know, answer them when I can. I mean, I try to check it every day, at least once, or when I'm uploading a video, I definitely check it then because they're right there where you can see them. So I would really appreciate that and like that. I want to get to know who you are, who you all are. That's kind of one of my goals of this channel. Okay, so there's another one. Like I said, I am going to put toppers on those. I'm just not going to do it on camera. What do you think? Can I just leave this one as it is? I think I can. All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tags, which I believe is plenty. No, I have scraps and cutoffs. I can make some more. These didn't come with any tags. The only tags it came with, excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay, so sorry about that. That was that kitty stitch. He reached up and pulled a basket off my desk that had ephemera in it that I've made and some ribbons, and just pulled it right off. He will do that. He'll get up on my nightstand when he wants attention, and he'll just start knocking off whatever he possibly can for attention. He just wants to get your attention. So, young man, you're going to have to wait. Alright, so I've got my tags pretty much done. Just got to put some toppers on them, which should be easy. I've lately been using a lot of fabric to make the toppers for my tags. I especially like the muslin. Excuse me, please. And so that's primarily what I've been trying to use. Now, I just want to take a couple of minutes because this has really bugged me, this piece of ephemera that I showed you. Now, again, I do not do tutorials, but I was, in all honesty, trying to show you how to do it because it is really quite simple. But I think I chose the wrong time to do it for a couple of reasons. I just had gotten finished watching the video, and which I was a little confused when I was watching it, the way it explained. And again, it's not the creator's fault. That was a me problem. I certainly would not blame the creator. I think it was just, I was just tired and was not comprehending like I should. But because this is so simple, and because it is such a good piece for your journal to add to it, to add additional writing space, I did want to, I did kind of want to just show you real quick if I can. Okay, so the whole idea is, I I should have had the actual one out that I made. Oh my goodness, where'd it go? I know it's right here. Well, okay, here it is. So this is an image from that 8x8 scrapbook pad that I cut down to size to use for this, and what it does is it opens into 3 sections to create extra journaling space. And you can glue this to a page, you can put it in a pocket. This one I could probably just put in a pocket because I did back it with this. And like I said, it's just kind of a fun little, interactive piece. And it's so simple, so simple. When I sat down to make this, I thought, oh my goodness, Maggie, why were you confused? Well, I don't know. So I took one of my lighthouses and pages that were extras, and I cut it down. And I like to make mine 7.5 by about 4.5. Then the 7.5, as far as the height goes, can be cut into two equal rectangles, equal size. So you've got your 2 equal sides, your 2 equal rectangles. Then you take a piece of cardstock. This is just copy weight paper, so this is lightweight cardstock. And you cut them, because this is 2.5 inches, you're going to need 5 inches plus 1 inch, and I'll show you. But you just take 2 pieces of cardstock or whatever you want to use, and you cut it down to your 4.5 inches, and then you can go ahead and just cut it off at 6 inches. For now, I'm going to leave it the size that it is. And all you do is glue this on here. I score them at 2.5 inches, or just slightly bigger than 2.5 inches, so they fold nice. You glue this down like this. The only reason you were folding forward and backward was just to get a good fold on the paper. That's it. You glue this one like this. And you glue the last one like this. And it doesn't matter what order you glue them in. That has nothing to do with it. And then when these are glued together, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm gonna have an avalanche. I'm just going to do it with the one piece because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just like beating a horse here, beating a dead horse. Is that what that saying is? I would never beat a dead anything, but anyway. So this is now 6 inches. So this can be, it doesn't matter what is on the back side of this because this is going to be glued to it and you're never going to see it. So you glue that, then you take the next one, same thing, cut this down to where you have 1 inch below, and then this one you glue on that 1/2 inch and you try to get it up there as closely as you can so that the piece looks like it's still together. And try to line them up straight so they line up straight. And here's the last one, glue it down. And then same thing, just snuggle it up there and glue it on that 1 inch strip that you should have left, or you can cut it all off at the end. Actually, if you just make your strip however long, you can cut it down to 7.5 inches when you're done, and that will give you a little bit more, if you're using cardstock, a little bit more sturdiness for your back, especially if you want to just glue it down to your page. So that's it. It's very simple, very easy to do. I'm not going to go over this again unless somebody asks, but I think it's a great idea, and I appreciated so much the creator sharing it, and I was able to see it, because I do love creative pieces of ephemera to put in my journals. I really do. So my friends, wherever you're watching from, whatever the time of the day it is for you, be blessed, enjoy the rest of your day, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next one.